All right, so today we're going to continue looking at writing expressions from basic math phrases. So on your screen, you should see your keyword chart that we've been talking about a lot. This again can be found on the course webpage under the Math Resources tab. Um, and we're going to be also including I'm also going to be putting it in the assignments because I do feel like it's a helpful resource to reflect to when you are completing assignments on your own. So taking a look at it, just to talk about it briefly, again, these are keywords that you see commonly in life and in basic math phrases that indicate a certain operation. We took a look at it a little bit further and said that there were words that implied operation and number, and I have those highlighted in green for you. And what I mean by that is words like twice. Twice means to multiply, and it means to multiply by the number of 2. Then we took a look at words, and I have them here highlighted yellow, that imply you have to switch the order that you write your word or your numbers down. So again, something like more than. Words or phrases that have the word than or from are good indications that you need to switch the order that you write something down. So for instance, instead of x minus 4, it would be 4 minus x. So we did look at ones that we had to flip the construction. Today we're going to take a look at words that imply that you also need to include parentheses when you are writing them into math expressions. So not only does it tell you the operation, but you also need to include parentheses. So let's take a look at some examples and hopefully you'll start to see what I mean by this. All right, so to dive in, let's look at these statements below. So example 1, 10 minus the sum of 5 and 4. So looking at my keyword chart, I see the word minus and I see the word sum. So if I'm looking, and I'm going to bring up my chart here, minus means to subtract, and sum means to add. Okay, so if I was moving left to right, I would say 10 minus, okay, the sum we said was to add, 5 plus 4. If I look at example 2, I've got some different keywords. But again, you can reference your chart if you need to. Minus is the same here, which we know means subtract. And then plus, if we look on our keyword chart here, it's over here under addition. So very similar setup, right? Again, we've had the word plus, which means addition, and we have subtraction, which means to subtract. I'm sorry, minus, which means to subtract. So I would say 10 minus, again, 5 plus 4. Kind of even written a little bit more traditionally how we would say it. So looking at those expressions, they're exactly the same. And again, guys, there's more than one way to say the exact same expression. However, when we take a look at the details, get this out of the way, the word sum, okay, sum and plus, again, both mean addition. You both are listed, sum and plus, under the addition category. However, the word sum is the answer to an addition problem. So this means that we would need to do this part first. So find the answer of that part first before you do any other operations. So in math, we use grouping symbols. We use parentheses so that it becomes the first in line according to order of operations. So there are keywords, again, that signal that you need to use parentheses. They're the answer to that type of problem. So remember, parentheses are used to group terms, so they're done first. So that's why we use them mathematically, to show that we need to do that first according to the operations. So if I take a look at my keyword chart, and now you see they're highlighted blue for you, total and sum are the answer to an addition problem. So that's why we need to do that step first before we apply any other operations to it. Difference is the answer to a subtraction problem, so we would be subtracting. Product is the answer of a multiplication problem, and quotient is the answer to the division problem. So those those 5 keywords indicate that we need to use parentheses. All right, so we're going to take a look at, let me bring this down here. I want you to see if you can identify which math phrases below require parentheses. So again, we're not writing out the expressions yet. I just want to see how comfortable you are in identifying whether something or not, whether an expression or not needs parentheses. So I'm going to ask that you kind of pause and you work your pacing through this, but it's just simply a yes or no answer. So we're going to go through some expressions, and I want you just to think to yourself whether or not you would need parentheses. So let's look at the first one. product of 5 and 4 minus 15. Yes, you would need parentheses because of the word product. Product is the answer of a multiplication problem, so we would need to do that first. And how do we do that in math? Parentheses. 2 times 5 plus 6, or plus 7. No, you don't need parentheses for the problem because we don't have any of those keywords that we've talked about. 10 plus 6 times 4. No, you also do not need parentheses for this one. Plus and time are basic operational keywords, but they do not imply we need parentheses. 12 divided by the total of 2 and 1. Yes, this would be a problem where we would require parentheses because of the word total. Moving to the next one, 8 multiplied with a sum of 10 and 2. Yes, this is another one we would need parentheses because of the keyword sum. That is the answer of an addition problem. Last one here, the difference of 10 and 8 times 9. Yes, this one also we would need parentheses because of the keyword difference. That is the answer to the subtraction problem and would be required to do that first. All right, so not only is it important to look for those keywords and be able to say yes or no, we need parentheses, you must include, or you must pay attention to what numbers and operations are actually put inside those brackets. So let's take a look at 3 similar examples. They all contain the same numbers and operations, but have different placement of the parentheses, and some don't even need it at all. So let's take a look at these 3 problems and hopefully get you a little bit more comfortable with that. So again, I think it's very helpful to look at the keyword chart when we are completing these problems. So if we look at the first one, we have the product of 3 and 4 plus 7. So here are my operational keywords, the product and plus. So if I take a look down at my keyword chart, product is highlighted blue, and blue is what we're going to be looking for. And you'll see it on the big expanded chart. I'll let you see that, and it's also going to be found under that resource tab on the home page. But product is one of those keywords that indicates the answer of a multiplication problem. So we would need to put that in parentheses. And what 2 numbers are we multiplying? 3 and 4. So right here, because of that word product, we would need to use those parentheses. Plus is just a good old word that means addition, does not have any other kind of implied meaning. So it's just a plus sign. So the product of 3 and 4 needs to go in parentheses. And again, remember guys, try to stay away from that X. Use a dot to show multiplication. And then on the outside of those parentheses, plus 7. Okay, let's take a look at number 2. So if I look at number 2, I've got the keywords of times and total. So times, good old multiplication. Total, ooh, it's a blue word, right? That's one of those keywords we're looking at and talking about today where we need to put it in parentheses. So what would I be putting in parentheses? What am I looking for the total of? 4 added to 7. So those would be the numbers and the operations that I would be putting inside of my parentheses. So hopefully by me highlighting, you can kind of see it a little bit more clearly. Times, again, we said is just multiplying. So moving left to right now, we'd say 3 times, here comes my parentheses, the total of 4 added to 7. Okay, and then that last example here. So if I move on down and I read through, we have 3 times 4 plus 7. So operational words, let's talk about them. Here's 1, times, basic multiplying, and we've got plus. Ooh, that's a basic addition word, right? So guess what? No parentheses are required here. We would just say 3 times 4 plus 7. So again, not all the time are you going to need parentheses, but it's important to know sometimes you do and sometimes you don't. And here's 3 very similar examples that show you the different ways that they would be required to be set up. So the devil's in the detail, guys. You have to make sure that you're looking at those keywords and not only recognizing what operation they're attached to, but also what kind of other implications does it have? Do I need to flip the order? Does it mean a number? And do I have to add parentheses? So that's kind of very important. So 3 more examples to kind of go through. Again, I know this can kind of be difficult from time to time. So let's go through 3 more together, a little less guided to see if you can kind of follow my thought process with it. So if I take a look at the first one, again, same number, same operations, groupings, we may or may not need it, and they may be placed differently. So if I look, I've got the word divided and times. So again, if you look at your chart, here's divided and here's times. So we've got the operation of division and we've got the operation of multiplication. None of those words are highlighted. So we're just writing it without any parentheses. 10 divided by 2 times 5. Left to right. That was pretty easy. If I look at number 2, my keywords here, the quotient and multiplied with. So if I look at my chart, quotient, ooh, it's a blue one, right? That's the one that we need to add parentheses. And then multiplied with, multiplied by, same kind of idea, just regular multiplication, nothing fancy. So when we go to put it in, again, just like I did before, if we highlight, the quotient is a parenthesis one. What am I finding the quotient of? 10 and 2. So those numbers and operations need to be inside of my parentheses. So the quotient of 10 and 2. And then again, we said multiplied is a basic operation. It's going to go on the outside, times 5. Okay, last one here. 10 divided by the product of 2 and 5. We've got the word divided by, and we've got the word product. So again, if I look at my keyword chart, and again, I really highly encourage you to use this resource, especially if you're not as familiar with these words. So divided by, basic division, product. Oh, it's a blue one. So that means I need to put what in parentheses. If I go back to my problem, here's the product of what? 2 and 5. The second part of my expression there needs to be put in parentheses. So moving left to right, 10 divided by, here's my parentheses, the product of 2 and 5. All right, so again, I'm hoping that this makes a little bit more sense to you and that you're seeing the connection between wording and how you need to use that to set up your expressions. So your assignment is going to look like, and I apologize, I think it's cut off here. Let me bring it down to your viewpoint. I thought it would be helpful to kind of review the assignment with you. So part A, you are, just like we did in that one exercise together, you're just going through and you're telling me which verbal phrases need parentheses. So again, use that keyword chart. Take a picture on your phone. I think that is helpful that you can just look at it on the side versus toggling on the computer screen. So if you get a chance, bring up that keyword chart, take a picture, and then use it when you're completing your work. So again, part A, you're just reading through there and you're just simply highlighting for me whatever expressions there or phrases there you think would require parentheses, and you're looking for those blue keywords. Part B, kind of similar to what we just did, you're looking at very similar phrases and matching them up correctly according to which ones you put in parentheses, which ones you don't, and some don't even need them. So there's 3 matching here in the middle. The bottom part, you're writing a numerical expression for each verbal phrase that you see. So you're using that keyword chart and you're finding the operational words and writing it there for me. Just as a hint, 3 require parentheses and 2 phrases do not. So try your best, guys. I know sometimes this can get a little bit confusing. Reach out if you need help. You can either send me an inbox on Canvas, or you can message me on chat, and we could even set up a screen share if you'd like more assistance. So good luck. And again, communicate if you need something.